Everybody come on in.
It's the Miss Knockout Show on the airwaves. So like, if I share, if I bless, if I the flow. It's the Miss Knockout Show. Now you already know. Hot topics, music, info, and more. If you ain't tapped in, what you came here for? MKO got the vibe, that's a full takeover. From beats to biz talk, yeah, the queen stay in clover. Trending every lane, I'm the glow you can't block. When I drop gems, whole chat goes shock. We don't do brokeify, now we amplify. Stay blessed if I let the energy fly. Hit that tapify, keep it all in the flow. Cause it's the Miss Knockout Show. Knockout Show, hot topics, beats and the glow. You rockin' with Miss Knockout. Let's go. Let's fuck.
No sound. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. Sorry about that. Welcome to the Miss Knockout Show. Okay, the mic was muted. Sorry about that. Welcome to the Miss Knockout Show. Today, we will be discussing, all right, Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty. But first, we'll be discussing the Offset and Lil Tjay situation. Now, the industry, like I was saying, is becoming a gangster party. It's a gangster party, y'all. It's like you come and you try to get out of the streets, right? You try to get out of the streets. And then you get into Alexa, open silk. The whole reason why you got a record deal is because you want to get out of the streets. You want to make a better life for yourself. All right. Hello, chat. Hey, Mo Girl. Mo Girl said, I can't hear you. How you doing there? I always wonder why YouTubers came on and there was no sound. So the StreamYard automatically shut your mouth off, your mic off when you're streaming your intro, right? So, yeah, okay, you back. I can hear you. Yes. So today we're going to be discussing two cases, the first being Offset and Lil Tjay, right? But that's not dealing with a record contract. That's dealing with somebody, and everything's all alleged in Miss Knockout's Live, but that's dealing with someone who has a habit of gambling. Now, I could see it because I went to the casino this weekend, and I'm not even a gambler, and I lost $80, right? And so my people was like, that's nothing compared. People go to the casinos and they lose their whole rent. I'm mad about my $80. I want my $80 back. Look, Deshaun, put my Daybreak, put my Cash App up, please. Put my Cash App. I lost $80 and I was hurting. Imagine that. And I could see how the casino it gets you addictified. I can see it. Because I'm not even a gambler. And I was like so tight that I lost $80. You know what I'm saying? I got 40 out. I lost it. And then the thing is, when you gamble, I make this mistake every time. The roulette table is bad. I know. Because they got, and then also with the casinos, and everything's all alleged. But I believe with the casinos, because they got all this AI stuff, and because look, let me put my cash app up. I'm trying to get some of my $80 back, y'all. Daybreak, pin that doggone cat. That's right, the CA. All right, let me pin it in here. Daybreak, did I make you a moderator? Did I make you a moderator, Daybreak? Let's see. Oh, I gotta go on the YTube to hit Daybreak. Did I make you a moderator? I gotta go on the YouTube to do it. Okay, let's go on the YouTube to do it. So you know, I can see how people get addictified to it, right? And the mistake that I always make in the casino is when I was playing the machine, right? We found a machine. Meanwhile, I noticed in the casino, no bells is going off. Nobody's winning in the casino. They got all these AIs. They got all the computers. They got the casino so that they make more money than they lose. You better believe it. The casino is set up to make way more money than they give away. Because there was no bells going off. There was nobody yelling, oh, I won. There was nobody. And I went and I put the first 40 in, right? And then the first 40, I won, like I was back up to, I put $30 in or $20, right? Then I was up to $40. Now, so what I should have did was I should have cashed out. So when you get that $40, you're supposed to cash out and go to another game, right? That's how the old head gamblers tell you. But I didn't get up. Why? Because my mind was telling me that it's going to make me win more money, but it never made me win more money. It never made me win more money. Okay, hold on. I'm going to make this showing. I'm going to make you a moderator right now. Right? So then I'm sitting there. So now in my mind, I'm like, now I see how people could get addictified to this because you always think that you're going to get that big hit. But the casino, but you're going to get the big hit, but you don't get that big hit. Why? Because the casinos, this help. They go with the AI moderator. They got all the help with the AI, all the AI. Hold on, Daybreak. I'm trying to make you a moderator. Right? And with the assistant of the AI. Okay. Okay. So you're a moderator, Daybreak, okay? Any of my big supporters or big gifters or anything, if you want to become a moderator over to the Y to the Tubesy, come on over there right now and I'll make you a moderator, right? So I should have got up when I was up 40, but I didn't get up. Because in my mind, I'm thinking I'm going to win more. You always think you're going to win the money back. You're going to get this big. You see people hit for $1 million. You think that's going to be you. But it's not you. So what happened? I put 40 more in and it sucked all my money back. So what I should have did, which you never do, but what you should do is when you hit that 40 and you're up 40, I should have got up, collected my money and either quit or went to another machine because the machines only let you win but so much. So if you move to another machine, then that machine might make you win another 40. Then you take that ticket out and you keep moving to machines. How you doing there? What's up? I don't know your name. Oh, what's up, Porter? Orbit you. Right? So I can see how people are addictified to gamblation. So let's talk about Offset and TJ. All right. So TJ came on here. Okay, let's see if I can pull up what TJ said. Okay, let's pull up what TJ said real quick before we get into this. I want to pull up what TJ said about Offset a year ago. Okay, so this is a year ago. Let's see if I can pull it up. Another computer. I need another computer, y'all. Computer's going to run me into the thousands of dollars. So, you got to be ready for that. But my computer's slow because I need a gaming computer. All right, can I moderate? Yeah, Bevy, come over there. I'll make you a moderator. Come over there. I'll make you a moderator. So let's pull up what Lil Tjay said about Offset. Okay, so I'm gonna pull it up on here so you can watch on the pull it up on the Tuesday. To know, start with him. He didn't just pop up and pop Offset. He didn't just pop up and pop Offset. There's a reason why he's popping Offset. All right. So hold on. Let me pull it up over here. Okay, hold on. Let me share the screen. Share the screen. Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me get this set up on the Y to the Tuesday so that y'all can watch this. All right.
Why this Offset? Offset broke. Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all the stream too. That pop. I'll tell y'all a true story. I got to do that shit. He was pop. He was panicking. He was asking random people for cash apps. He was broke. I don't know what happened. Nobody was answering phone call. He popped, trying to run up, chasing. Must got a gambling addiction. And then says, yo, he just popped. He calling for cash apps in front of me. I ain't gonna lie to you. The first 5 I offered, I'm like, yo, you pop. You waiting for some bread? I wait for my money. I swung that 5. You know how I get. He gets popped. Not us two dicing each other. He gets popped straight to the casino. Goes not. He get another loan from somebody else for like 2 bands. I don't even take my loan. I'm like, that's Offset. I'm good on my money. I'm worried about this. Got mad, bro. I definitely run off for 5 bands. He pops for the next band. He's like, yo, thanks, ma. He pops that. I thought another 5. So I see like, words of my mother ducked me for so long, boy. And mind you, I'm 23, and this is Drop Top, Cardi B husband. And I'm only talking crazy because he was talking crazy. Like, why? He was so crazy over my bread. And I beat him up on his birthday, but I'm not even, you feel me? Gangsta, I was too, you know this? I'm that good type of, like, I'm giving you a little bit of me. I was 230, or like, it was like I couldn't even do that. And Cardi B walked in the spot. I was like, yo, I couldn't even dress it because my so aggressive sometimes that if he says crazy, you won't even know he's gonna get like you know something you just know it's over. Like, feel me? Like, why?
This is from a year ago. That's from a year ago, y'all, right? Okay, so let's get into it. So we're gonna go to my notes right now, and then we're gonna go to other commentary. So let's start from the beginning. All right. So here's the full tea. All right. Lil Tjay says that he loaned at Offset a total of $10K at the casino, right? And he called him broke. He called him a gamblation identification. We're on the clock, so we got to change the words around. All right, on the live. All right, we got 72 people in here. Everybody put hashtags. Everybody get your orange heart. Everybody blessify Miss Knockout so she won't be brokified. And I could keep coming here bringing you the news that you can use. All right, so he owed him a total of $10K. And this one that we just played, the clip we just played, is going back. Thank you, Candace. A year. So that's been a minute, right? So this is going back a year. So he called him a broke gambling addictificationer on live, and how that it exploded into a leaked DM with threatifications, Diss tracks were flying back and forth, and now it's a wild pum drama at the Hard Rock. All right, so let's get into it. So, according to Lil Tjay's own words, a couple of years back, Lil Tjay referenced the raindrop drop top Migos era when Offset was still heavy with Cardi B, right? Tjay claims that he walked into a casino and spotted Offset in a full panic mode after a brutal losing streak. Offset was alleged, and everything's all alleged in Miss Knockout Live, all alleged. Offset allegedly was popped. Okay, so that means when the slang for pop means that he was up higher funkification, he was drunkified, he was out of it, he was lit. Okay, that's what he means when he said he's popped. So you heard Tjay kept saying that he was popped. Now I thought he was saying he was popped because he played the money back and he was popped. That's what I thought he meant. I don't know. He was desperately hitting up random strangers for cash apps, including Selena. Remember, Selena told the whole story about how he owes her 15 bands. Offset owes Selena 15 bands. She kept lending her money in a casino, right? He wanted the money more than he wanted to F her, the way she told the story, right? Yeah, he needs help, right? He figured he'd get some now. I don't know. So he was desperately hitting up random strangers for cash to the appsies and just to keep gambling. Nobody was answering his call. So this is Lil Tjay watching him. So Tjay was around him and he wound up lending him money. Okay, he was chasing losses like a man that was possessed, he said. Tjay said he felt bad and he stepped in. And he first loaned Offset $5,000. Offset took it straight to the tables. And then he lost that and he kept borrowing. Tjay watched him racked up around $13,000 in total loans from multiple people, including a random lady. Tjay ended up spotting him another $5,000. So that brings his total up to $10K from Tjay alone. So imagine what he got from the other. I wonder, did he borrow money from Cardi B? Cardi B looked like she ain't having it. You ain't taking my money, my hard-earned money, to the gambling table, and I know you ain't paying me back. I wonder how that worked out. Like, did his gambling problem get worse after his divorce? Because Cardi B strikes me as a girl who's not having none of that of my money going to the gambling table unless I go out there and gamble or we play for fun. This is cute. Oh, look, we lost a little 100 like that. But I don't see Cardi B lending him 15 and 20,000. Tjay shouldn't have gave him a penny, right? But Tjay's a YN. He thought he was just being nice. And then he said he looked so desperate, so he stepped in. Hey, Shima. That's like you see somebody like, oh, it's Offset. And then he's going around, he's begging people, and then he steps in. Hey, Shima. So he stepped in, he gave him 5, and he gave him 10. Right now, I bet you, right? Hey, Shima, thank you. That Tjay is saying that he'll never do that again. I thought Offset had money too, but I knew it when Selena told him, we're gonna run that back. Selena told the whole story about how he borrowed money from her and kept on borrowing money. So Offset was good when he was with Cardi B. Cardi B was making all the money. Cardi B saves her money. Cardi B is not a crazy spender and crazy with her money. Cardi B is one person, from what I see, that knows how to do her money right. Beyonce too. Beyonce says she don't hardly buy nothing. Beyonce says she don't buy it and do all this big spending. Why is Offset by random money when you were like over 40 million? I don't understand. I don't understand it. It's the same reason why Mike Tyson had all these millions and then he went broke. All these boxers go broke. They say Mayweather is broke now. I don't know how true it is, allegedly. You can have money. Look at the Powerball winners. That she was taking care of them, right? Look at the Powerball winners. They have a whole documentary about how the Powerball winners and the Lotto winners win 200 million, 100 million. I'm figuring in my head, if I got 100 million, I ain't going broke. That's just in my head though. But I've had money before and watched the money go too. Not millions, but it was a nice amount. So money can go if you don't know how to flip it. But it boggles me now. Now, if you add a gambulation problem to it, yes, the money could go. I lost $80 in a matter of 10 minutes. Not even, maybe 15. It's giving a lot. $80. So I can see you losing a lot of money gambling. Losing a lot of money. Right? So TJ ended up spotting him another $5,000 to total $10,000 from TJ alone. But Offset allegedly never paid a dime back, and he ghosted him for years, and he kept ducking repayment. Right? So January 8th, 2025, the Twitch, I didn't even know TJ had a Twitch. I got to go to, so now I got to go to TJ's Twitch stream. Okay, we're going to dig up his Twitch stream. The moment that launched the whole beef. Okay, so he said, and I quote is, this is what TJ is saying. Why this Offset? Because Offset is broke. And I'll tell you all a true story. I seen that ninja in the casino, and he was popped. He was panicking. He was asking random people for cash apps. He was broke. I don't know what happened. Nobody was answering his phone calls. He was trying to run up, chasing, and he must have a gambulation addiction. This is TJ talking. This is January 8th, 2025, which is a year ago, over a year ago. I see like 13 bans in loans. I don't know who got paid back that day. This ninja ducked me for so long. Boy, mind you, I'm 23. And this is Raindrop Drop Top, Cardi B's husband. Like, what? He want to talk crazy to me over my bread. So anybody knows, right? When you lend people money, what happens when you lend people money? Oh, knockout. Can I borrow $100? Oh, yeah, here goes 100. Okay, I'll give it back to you next week when I get paid. The next week comes. Hey, what's up, Bobo? Oh, you got my 100? I really need it. I can use my 100 back. Then what you asked me for your, I'll give you your 100 back when I get ready to give you your 100 back. Don't come over here asking me for no money. I said I was going to give you your money back, right? This is how people act when you borrow money from them. Am I right or wrong? They always get belligerent, and they always get an attitude over money that you gave to them. That's why they say when you lend people money, have no expectations on getting it back. Just kiss your money goodbye. Because how you going to get funky with me with money that I lent you? How does that work out? Right? A whole attitude and they owe you money. How you get funky with me over my money? Unless you get it in writing, right? But Valentino, sometimes you don't be thinking about that. Sometimes you don't think about getting in writing. Right? So he said, I'm 23, and mind you, this is Drop Top, Cardi B's husband. Like, what? He wanted to talk crazy to me about my bread. So this is the backstory leading up to what we're seeing now. Okay, so TJ straight up warned the chat, don't loan Offset no money because he allegedly has a gambling problem and who will blow it up and then vanish. And he emphasized he was only speaking because Offset had started talking crazy in DMs about the unpaid debt. So TJ, right, is saying, yo, you got my money? You got my money, son? And then All-Star said, I want money. I ain't giving you money. What? Getting crazy. Like, that's how the pattern goes when you lend people money. They get crazy over their own bread. What's up, buddy? Right? They get crazy over their own bread. Everybody go over to the Y to the TZ, like, hit the thumbs up, The more you hit the thumbs up, the more they push the video out, right? So after TJ aired this on stream, old screenshots of their private messages leaked everywhere. And TJ was fed up, and then he typed, "Not going to lie, I'm going to smack the whole shiznick out of you," right? That's what he typed, right? And the messages was leaked. And Offset clapped back hard, right? And Offset said back to him, "LOL, huh? You joking, right? Just seeing this pop up, and you gotta." Well, hold on. They're asking me to verify myself. Hold on. So Offset said, "LOL." Now this is the messages that leaked, y'all. Stay with the class. Offset said, "LOL, you joking, right? Just seeing this pop up, and you got to be wrong, NA. You Texan boy, I'll smokify you." And then he said, "You barely lived already. Who the F you think you talking to, NA? I'm in New York right now. Come smack me, little boy." So this is how he's talking over money that he owes somebody. Thank you, Chiquita. And this is what always happens when you lend people bread. They talk crazy to you about your own money. That's why you got to be very careful on who you loan money to. And maybe you shouldn't be expecting it back. Maybe you shouldn't be expecting it back. Am I right or wrong, y'all? Who's ever loaned a person money and got talked crazy to? Right? So he said, "I'm in New York right now. Come smack me, little boy." And then that went viral instantly. And the fans were screen recording, okay, sending memes back and forth, picking sides. And then Offset later challenged TJ to a live stream fight. So I guess they was going to live stream it and physically fight. You know, little TJ is a kid. He's like, "I'm 23. You a grown man. You drop top guy." Right? So TJ kept doubling down on the broke gamblation angle, pure messiness. Right? So the original Twitch stream from January 8th, 2025 isn't archived in full publicity and publicly. So nobody can find that original stream in which he talks about this in great length. We just got clips of it, like the clip I just played, right? Twitch's lives aren't often saved forever. It's just like the TikTok lives. It stays in your archive for 30 days, right? So usually if they screenshotted it or they downloaded it or something, that somebody will have it. So that's why people don't have, it's not too much of little TJ's clips on which he was talking about this back and forth a year ago, because Twitch doesn't save the streams like that, right? But clean clips of TJ saying the exact words above went mega viral and still everywhere on Y to the TC. Right? Oh, let me see if this is the full clip. Well, we'll get back to that. We'll come to that to the end. All right? So now, let's come up to April 7th in 2026. So I just wanted y'all to know the backstory on little TJ just didn't jump up and just boom, get into an altercation with Offset out of nowhere. No, there's a history to this. It's the old tale of somebody borrows money from you, and then they talk crazy about your own money being paid back, right? And we're going to also pull up Selena, talk about how she kept lending the money. I don't understand why she kept giving the money. I mean, maybe she has a liking to him. I don't know. But I'm not giving you, I don't care how much money I got in my pocket. I'm not giving you money over and over again. I'm not giving you money over and over again. And you're not paying me back. What's up, Anthony? Okay, you gave Selena money, and then you commenced to not paying her back, and then she gave you more money. So these people at this point are infatuated by being around Raindrop, Drop Top, and Cardi B's husband. They infatuated by that, right? This girl was sleepifying with him allegedly. Right. So let's move up to April 7th, 2026. Right. Lil Tjay spilled that Offset owed him $10K. Been ghosting him for a year. Right? So let's move up. Hold on. Let's move up to the shootifying. And okay, hold on. Let me pull my notes up. Hold on, y'all. Okay, so let's get the details from the casino. So he's in Florida, he's in the casino. Okay. My question is, how did Lil Tjay know that Off's gonna be said casino? How did he know this? Right? How did he know this? Did he just tell him, like, I'm gonna be here, come catch fade? You know what I'm saying? So Offset was pumed in Seminole Hard Rock Hotel Cafe and Casino in Hollywood, Florida. Like, I didn't even know they had casinos in Hollywood, Florida. I didn't even know they're getting casinos everywhere now. Last night, April 6th, around 7 p.m. in the Valet area, the former Migos rapper Offset, whose real name is Kyrie Kendrell Cephas. Boy, these names are something else. These mamas, boy, they was naming them chillins. Right, was shot at Pyongyang and rushed to the Memorial Regional Hospital, which he is in stable and in non-life-threatening condition. Reportedly, he was hit in the leg and being closely monitored. He's in the hospital right now. His rep confirmed to TMZ and multiple outlets, we can confirm that Offset was Pyongyang and is currently in the hospital receiving medical care. He's in stable but being closely monitored, right? The police say that they responded immediately, contained the situation fast, and detained two individuals. Who were the two individuals involved? Lil Tjay and Offset. So you're both Pyongyang. Now they saying that Lil Tjay got Pyongyang too. Were they Pyongyang each other? I don't know. We're gonna find out, right? But they both got detained in their own situation. So that means that, and the story is gonna come out. I'll probably give you the story before this is over, knowing me, right? But it sounds like allegedly Offset retaliated from Tjay Pyongyang him. He Pyongyang Lil Tjay. This isn't just a random shooting. It's tied directly to Tjay, whose name is Tion. Look at these names, yo. These names are something else. His name is Tion. That's why they call him Lil Tjay. Tion Jaden Merritt. Tjay. And their messy year-long beef over a $10,000 gambling bet. But not a bet that he bet to Tjay. Is Tjay loaning him the money and then him going out into the casino and losing the money and ghosting him and never paying it back. Right? So how did he catch up to, how did he know that Offset was going to be in the casino? I don't know. Because that's the thing I want to know. All right? So he finally caught him out there. Right? So let's see. Okay, so let's see. So that's all we know about Offset's situation. He's still in the hospital. He's in stable condition. Both of them are detained. All right. Florida does have a stand your ground, right? But the question is, who is protecting who from who? Who is protecting themselves from the other person? That's going to be the question, right? So that's the question. Like, you know, which one of them is going to, you know, are they going to stay in? Because both of them are detained. Messy. Right? So, status is, like I said, he's being closely monitored. He's he's in Memorial Regional Hospital in Hollywood, Florida. Wow, everybody knows where he's at, right? And he's in stable condition, being closely monitored. All right. And viral clips have been posted of him on the ground. Okay, I know y'all seen this. He's on the ground. TJ was still lunging at him. TJ's mad about that money because they still show him lunging at him. Did y'all see those videos? He was still lunging at him. Right? So little TJ was arrested on Monday night in direct connection with the incident. The charges are disorderly conduct with a first-degree misdemeanor under Florida state law, basically fighting and causing a public disturbance, operating a vehicle without a valid license. He was booked, and so here's the thing, y'all. I'm reading these charges. How come he was in charge with the Pum Pum? I don't see any Pum Pum charges. Let me finish reading. He was booked into Broward County Jail late Monday night, and he bonded out quickly on a $500 bond. So his bond is real low. So why isn't little TJ getting charged with Pum Pum and Offset? That's a mind boggler, isn't it? Maybe it's coming. I don't know. I hope, you know, I wish the best for everybody. I don't want to see nobody go to jailification. Not Offset, not Lil TJ. Lil TJ is a YN. He hasn't even lived life yet, and he's going through all this stuff, right? Police statements, they said the incident began with a fight near the valet area. TJ was involved in that physical altercation right before and around the shots were Pum Pum. 2 people were detained initially. TJ is the only one formally charged so far. The second person has not been charged. Who's the second person? Is it Offset? Because there's rumors that Offset was detained too, but I'm going to research that, okay? I'm going to research it. So, TJ is the only one who's been formally charged. The second person has not been charged yet, okay? His attorney, TJ's attorney, Don M. Florio, put out a strong denial. Lil TJ has not been shot. So, there we have it. Nor has little TJ been charged with any Pum Pumin. Any report to the contrary is false. They're calling the direct Pum Pumin involvement with rumors and is baseless, and police have not charged him with the actual Pum Pumin, only the fight and the disloyalty part. So that's a mind boggler. So let's go through this. So Offset is in the hospital. I believe that part is true. His people said he was in the hospital. The police report said he was took to the hospital. So who Pum Pum'd Offset? If TJ didn't Pum Pum Offset, who Pum Pum Offset? Who Pum Pum Offset? Because everybody was there. They seen the fight. Offset was on the ground, but Lil Tjay didn't get charged for the pum-puming. He just got charged for fighting in public and not having a license, driving a car. What's up, Ty? So who pum-pum Offset is the question. Who actually fired the shot? No pum-pumer was named, no arrest made, no attempted murderation, no weapons charge announced yet. Yet is the key word. Yet. Yeti. And the investigation is active. The police say that they contained the scene fast. So the police has not released who did the pum-puming yet. I believe the police knew who pum-pum Offset. Offset was pum-puming in LA. Did a ghost come out and pum-pum him? Here's another theory. Did Offset pum-pum himself, trying to pull a pum-pum out to get the TJ? He might have pum-pummed himself. You ever thought of that? That's a theory. Okay, you could have had Lele did it myself, allegedly. Offset could have pum-pummed himself. I don't know. It's going to come out. All right? So the motive officially is still in the wraps, but we all know that he owed him about $10,000, loses his money, gamblifying, losing the money, borrowing money for people, right? And so the casino loan, okay, the disc, the leaked DMs, okay, the timeline is going back a year, all right? So we're watching this story develop. The question at hand is who pum-pum Offset? Because right now it's looking like Offset might have pum-pummed himself, pulling the pum-pum. That happens too, you know. They pulling the pum-pum out of wherever they got the pum-pum, and then the pum-pum goes off, and then they pum-pum themselves. That happens. Right? We've heard of that happening. So we're going to keep a watch on this story. And we're going to keep a solid eye on this story. All right? So now, let's go to Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane. Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane. Okay, hold on, y'all. Let's go to Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane's. Hold up. Let's go back to Pooh Shiesty. Let's see. All right, so let's go back to Pooh Shiesty. Let's start Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane's. Another problem in the industry. All right. So now, this incident happened back in January. I know a lot of y'all are thinking this happened last week. This just happened. This just didn't happen. I didn't even know that Pooh Shiesty was back in jailification. I thought Pooh Shiesty was out living his best life, right? But lo and behold, Pooh Shiesty is back in jailification for violating his parole. Now, he's not charged with this other stuff yet because they didn't go to court yet. Pooh Shiesty is mainly in jailification. Why? Because he violated his parole. He committed, and all this went on, allegedly. Everything in Miss Knockout's live is all alleged. This allegedly went down while he had an ankle bracelet around his ankle still, and he still was on paper. The hard work has here. They got cameras everywhere. We're going to get this full story, Alex. We're going to get the full story. But I just find out it's mind-boggling when Lil Tjay didn't get charged with the pum-puming. I would have thought Lil Tjay, if he did it, he would get charged right away because of what you just said. There's cameras everywhere. They could go right upstairs or wherever they got to go in the back right there and pull the cameras and see who pum-pum Offset. And they know who pum-pum who. They just ain't telling us yet because this is an investigation. All right. So let's move on to Pooh Shiesty. We'll keep up with that. We will keep up with that Offset pum-puming, and we'll come back with updates. I'll put some updates on my channel on the Y to the Tubesy. Every time we get an update, I'll come back with it. Okay. My new time for Y to the Tuesday is 2:00. And it's good so far because we got a couple of people watching. All right. So now let's move on to Pooh Shiesty. Pooh Shiesty. All right. So now we're gonna play this first. I went into this last when I was on the tick to the clock, but we're gonna play this first because I want y'all. Everybody thinks that these YNs just are crash outs, right? Yes, they're YNs, but they're crashing for a reason. And the reason lies in what these people are putting in those contracts. The industry is real greedy. Forget a 360 deal, right? Like Daybreak said, the man said they got the RIP deals now. The labels are taking 80% on the dollar and giving you 20%. Imagine you were a music artist and you recording music, you out there sweating and going to the shows and doing all this and recording and thinking up lyrics and this and that. And the label comes and takes 80% and gives you 20%. But they don't give you the 20% right off the bat. Oh, no. You got to pay back all the money that they spent out front. And sometimes the label, allegedly, and not every label, but sometimes the labels cook the books. And they say, oh, remember that jacket I gave you? That jacket was $2,000 that you wore in that photo shoot and you kept. It was $2,000. Meanwhile, the jacket cost $200. But the label will say the jacket cost $2,000. Oh, the girl did your hair. That cost $1,000. Oh, we put you in a 5-star stuff. And the list and the tab is like this, right? And the artist can never recoup back. They can never recoup to see a profit. Is that what happened to TLC? Yes, that's the same thing that happened to TLC. That's right, Lizzie. TLC came on and told the story on how they're broke. Looking beautiful, looking like they got everything, and broke like no joke. These artists is broke, y'all. Not all of them. Not all of them. Some of them get money from doing shows and selling other things. Why you think Finesse 2 Times was on here crying like a baby? I think I showed that a while back on my TikTok. Crying like a baby. Because he can't get out of his, what's up, Project? What's up? Hello, moms. Why you calling me moms? Your mammy. Right? Finesse 2 Times was on live crying like a baby because they wouldn't let him out his contract. The mob ties. What's the other people's name? Jay Prince Jr. and Jay Prince Sr. and Jr. They got a label. They had, they had all the big groups back in the days. Now the son is running his own stuff. The son signed Finesse 2 Times out of jail. And I watched Finesse 2 Times cry crocodile tears. And I'm like, what is in that contract? I'm going to tell you what's in that contract. Greed. We keep 80% and we're giving you 20. And you're not going to even get that 20 yet until you pay me back everything I owed you. Now you would think, am I paying you back what I owed you through the 80%? No. That's their cut that you agreed to because you're so infatuated to be on a big label like Atlantic or RCA. I want to sign with this artist, that artist. And you're in awe about that. So you don't think of the business sense. And a lot of times, like I said, the label goes, oh, well, you don't want me to take your publishing? All right, the deal's off the table. Next, they got a line out the door who wants to sign to a label. You know how many artists are still looking to get signed to a label? They will say, then forget you. Then you won't let us rob you. Next. That's how they do. Then you're like, okay, because you still want the deal. So you do the okay, like Babs did with that contract on the television show. Oh, it was Bad Boy. It was Bad Boy. And she still signed it. So people and artists are so thirsty that they're willing to get robbed to be seen and heard by the world. That's what it boils down to. And actors are just as thirsty. It's just that the acting world ain't set up for them to rob you like that. That's why when people people be on set talking about, oh, I got to get my lawyer to look at the contract. Girl, they're going to kick you off the set and get somebody else to do it. It almost happened to me. The actor wouldn't sign the contract in the trailer, and the director sent them to come talk to me because I looked like the Jamaican lady that they wanted to do the part. And they said, do you have acting experience? Can you say? I said, heck yeah. And I waited back. And then the person gave in and signed the contract. They was going to put her off a set and send her home and put me in a spot. And I would have made about $5,000 for the day. So she didn't know any better because the acting world is not set up like the music world. The acting world has a signed contract. You either sign it or you get kicked off the set. It's not no robbation stuff. The music world is they robbing you. It's a robbation situation. 80% and 20% is crazy. The label taking 80% and you getting 20% is crazy. But the artist is so desperate to be seen and heard. This is what they're dealing with. And now you know. So let's go to this first. And then we're going to read through, right? Because I want y'all to see why. I want you to see why Pooh Shiesty crashed out. And just know that he's not crashing out for no reason. There's a reason why he's crashing out. Now, should he have did what he did? No, he shouldn't have did what he did. Of course he shouldn't have. He should have held his head, got a good lawyer, but then and still, you might not still get out of the contract.
Battery 90%. Connected to
anybody who wants to get out of the contract, that I would tell them to do.
Zero's like, no, you're still doing good.
I would tell them to do what.
If you need full dentures but can't be endless expense dentist visits, you need to see this. I used to every time I laughed.
So now let's look at
3 full years of streaming revenue, sync licensing, playlist royalty.
Hold on, let's go to the beginning. Let's go to the beginning, and then we're going to go over here. Hold on, let's go to the beginning. Then I want to set it up on Y to the TZ so y'all can see this too. Okay, so let's set it up on Y to the TZ. Hold on, y'all, so we can run it simultaneously. And I want y'all to see why Homeboy is crashing out. Right? Yeah, what he did. Yeah, people call him. It was charted on the top charts. Okay? All while he was in jail for 3 years. Right? So let's see how he got the money took. Let's listen.
$25 million. That is how much Gucci Mane allegedly collected off one artist, while that artist was sitting in a federal prison cell, not seeing a single dollar. And when Pooh Shiesty's mother reached out for help, needing anything, even just support, Gucci Mane ignored her like she was nobody. But here's where it gets real dark. When Pooh finally came home after 3 years behind bars, ready to reclaim his career and collect what was owed to him, Gucci Mane looked him in the face and said, "I'm broke right now. Broke. The CEO of 1017 Records, the label that just spent 10 years on artists in Memphis rap, broke. Now understands nothing, and I mean nothing, more disrespectful than playing with a man's money. That is the kind of thing people are willing to die over." And allegedly, Pooh Shiesty was done talking. On top of all of that, Pooh came home thinking his contract with 1017 Records was done. He had done the time, he had paid his dues, he assumed that was it. And here's the part nobody told him before he signed that deal. When you go to prison, your recording contract does not end, it pauses. The clock stops on your album rollout obligations, but the CEO, he keeps collecting every stream, every sync, every royalty check, and you see zero of it while you're locked up. Pooh Shiesty did 3 years in federal prison. Gucci Mane came home to check after check. And when Pooh walked out and asked for his cut, he got excuses. So Pooh decided to handle it differently. He invited Gucci Mane to a meeting in Dallas, Texas. And what happened in that studio on January 10th, 2026 is now the most explosive story in hip hop. And it is going to put Pooh Shiesty away for the rest of his life if the feds have their way. Stay right here, because what I'm about to break down for you is bigger than the robbery. This is about how the music industry turns artists into products, how a contract can legally rob you blind, and how Pooh Shiesty's story went from Memphis underdog to federal fugitive in the span of 5 years. Do not go anywhere. Pooh Shiesty was one of the most promising young rappers to come out of Memphis in a decade. In a city that gave hip-hop 3-6 Mafia, Yo Gotti, and Moneybagg Yo. That is not a small statement. He had the flow, the energy, the street credibility, and the commercial appeal. When Gucci Mane came knocking, it felt like a blessing, a legend reaching down to pull up the next generation. But the relationship between Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane did not stay a blessing for long. What people see on the surface, the collab records, the matching chain photos, the Instagram posts, none of that tells you what was really going on behind closed doors. The contracts, the money, the silence. To understand how things got to the point where Pooh Shiesty allegedly put an AK-style pistol in Gucci Mane's face and forced him to sign a release at gunpoint, we got to go all the way back to where this relationship started. Because this story does not begin in a Dallas studio in 2026. It begins in Memphis in 2019. Let's rewind.
So I want y'all to listen to this closely, because you're going to see for people who are saying, oh, he's just a crash out, this and that. There's a reason why he crashed out. Not saying that he should have done it, but there is a reason why he crashed out like that. And we're going to know part of this reason right now. All right. Now, I study the music business. I got almost what? I'm an avid, but a lot of artists do not entertain the business side. They entertain the all that glitters is gold side and thirstiness and wanting to be seen and wanting to be famous. So let's listen to this. So y'all going to get a better understanding on why Pooh Shiesty crashed out. Let's listen.
2019, Lontrell Williams Jr., known on the streets and in the booth, major label deal, no industry connections, and everything to prove. His father, Lontrell Williams Sr., known in Memphis as Mob Boss, had founded his own local label called Mob Ties Records. So Pooh was raised around music. The studio was not foreign to him. The grind was in his blood. He dropped his debut single Hell Night in 2019, linking up with his day one running partner Big 30. Then came Shiesty Summer, then Choppa Talk, then Day One. He was grinding hard, building a regional following the old-fashioned way through consistency and raw talent. People started paying attention. By early 2020, Pooh Shiesty had caught the attention of none other than Gucci Mane, the Atlanta trap legend, the founder of 1017 Records, and one of the most successful independent label bosses in hip-hop history. Now, Gucci Mane did not just offer a handshake. He extended a full joint venture deal. Pooh would sign to 1017 Records, which was distributed through Atlantic Records. That means Atlantic's infrastructure, Atlantic's marketing budget, Atlantic's global reach. For a kid from Memphis who had been going independent, this was the dream. Pooh said it himself in an interview. It just made perfect sense. And
so I said to myself that it would have made more sense for him to sign with Yo Gotti. I've never heard Yo Gotti's artists complaining. I never heard Glorilla saying, I'm broke, I don't play no. It looks and seems like he takes care of his artists. You know what I'm saying? He said that WAP was the only one coming. Gucci Mane Yo Gotti wasn't coming. And maybe Yo Gotti didn't really. So he said Gucci Mane was the one who was coming at him. So that's the one he signed with. Let's listen.
Cheers. Young Thug circle. He had eyes for talent. So Pooh signed on the dotted line in April of 2020, and they celebrated by dropping a collaborative single together called Still Remember. On the record, Pooh literally rapped about the blessing of the deal, comparing himself and Gucci to Shaq and Kareem. He was happy. He was grateful. He was locked in. But here is what Pooh Shiesty did not fully understand on the day he signed that contract, and what most young artists never understand until it is too late. That deal was not just a record deal, it was a business arrangement structured to benefit 1017 Records and Atlantic First. When you sign to an imprint label like 1017, the label boss, in this case Gucci Mane, takes his cut before anything flows down to you.
Yeah.
Recording costs, promotional costs, advances, all of it gets recouped from your royalties before you see a dollar.
Sure
And the royalty
does.
split? In a typical imprint deal, the artist is often looking at 15 to 20% of the net after the label takes its share, after Atlantic takes its distribution fee, after recoupment. The label boss is sitting at the top of that structure, collecting on everything. Let me break down exactly how a deal like this works,
Show me.
because most people have no idea how these numbers actually move. And this is the key to understanding why Pooh Shiesty felt robbed before he ever pulled out a weapon. When a label like 1017 signs an artist, they are not just buying your music, they are buying your masters, meaning they own the recordings, not just the right to sell them.
Okay,
they own them. You are essentially selling the product you make to them in exchange for.
So let me explain what masters are before they moved on, because a lot of people might be lost because they're not in the music business. So your masters are when you go to the studio. I'm an independent artist, right? When I go to the studio, I pay for my studio time. Okay, I lay down my music. Those are the masters. The first recording that you record to do your song are your masters if you pay for it, right? But in this case, because he signed to a label, right? 1017 in Atlanta signed, they pay for the studio time. Usually it goes, so I pay for my studio time from Knockout Coming with the Heat. Everybody get it? It's in my link tree, and it's on everywhere, every platform, right? I got the barcode for my song to put up. And my masters. I'm not signing labels, but Pooh Shiesty deal. So every time he goes in the studio, they own his masters. That's how that works.
Percentage of what that product earns. In a standard recording deal in 2020, a new artist with no leverage would be looking at a royalty rate somewhere between 15 and retail list price of the music. You do not see royalties until the label has recouped every dollar they spent on you. The advance they gave you, recouped. The studio time, recouped. The music videos, recouped. The promotional campaigns, recouped. Every dollar the label spends comes out of your future royalty pool before you see a single check. Meanwhile, the label boss, Gucci Mane in this case, is operating on the publishing side and the master ownership side simultaneously.
Okay, so he's operating on the publishing side and the master side simultaneously. Let's break that down. So the master side is when you go in the studio, you record your song, you pay for your song, you own your master. But when you sign a record deal, you go in the studio, they 9 times out of 10 pay for your studio time. But even if you do pay for your studio time, they still own the masters. Why? Because they made you sign a contract, and that's in the contract. Now, the reason why he's saying that he's operating on the publishing side is ASCAP, BMI. Those are your pros. You sign, you open them up, right? But the label takes a big cut and a big ownership of that. So Gucci Mane probably has a big ownership, if not all of his publishing. He probably owns like 80% and gives him a small percentage of his own work. Why? Because you signed a record deal. You give up all your rights for fame, notoriety, to be seen, to be popular, to use all of Gucci Mane's perks and all the people we knows. This is what you forfeit. So the publishing side is where your real pocketbook is as a music artist. Let's listen.
The master ownership side, labels typically keep 82 to 85% of all recording revenue. So every stream of back in blood that generated a dollar, Gucci Mane's 1017 Records was seeing 80+ cents of it. And there is something else people forget: touring. Before Pooh Shiesty went to prison, he was reportedly pulling in between $30,000 and $50,000 per performance. He was doing shows across the country at the peak of his momentum. A label with a 360 deal, which means the label takes a percentage of all revenue, including touring, merchandise, and endorsements, would be collecting off every show too. When you add it all up, streaming, album sales, touring, merchandise, sync licensing, radio royalties. The number that flows through a label off a commercially successful artist is staggering. And the artist, especially early in their career under a restrictive deal, sees a fraction of what the label collects. No cap. This is why so many rappers who go platinum end up broke. Pooh Shiesty did not have the leverage of a veteran. He was a new artist. He took what they offered him because at that point in his career, the platform was worth more than the money. That decision would define the next 6 years of his life. Now let me break down the money because this is the core of everything. Within months of signing, Pooh Shiesty dropped the record that changed everything. November 6, 2020, Back in Blood, featuring Lil Durk, hits the internet, and the streets went crazy immediately. The song debuted on the Billboard Hot 100 and climbed all the way to number 13. For reference, that is one of the highest charting debut singles from any Memphis rapper ever. It was certified 5 times platinum by the RIAA, 5 times platinum. Now let's talk about what 5 times platinum.
So I gotta look this up, but I don't even think Glorilla's records charted as high as Pooh Shiesty, or maybe I think Pooh Shiesty came out before Glorilla. But I gotta look that up because I would think in my mind that Glorilla had records that charted too, but maybe they didn't chart as high as Pooh Shiesty because Pooh Shiesty's record was going. It was going. The one with Lil Durk, it was going. It was going.
Actually means in real dollars. A platinum certification means 1 million units, combining streams, digital downloads, and physical sales. On streaming platforms, artists typically earn somewhere between 3 and 5 thousandths of a dollar per stream. That sounds small, but when a song racks up hundreds of millions of streams, the money adds up fast. Back in Blood has accumulated over 600 million streams on Spotify alone. And that is not counting Apple Music, YouTube, Tidal, Amazon, and every other platform. Conservative estimates put the total streaming revenue from that one song in the range of $3 to $5 million. And that revenue...
So $3 to $5 million he got from streaming alone. So they're saying allegedly Gucci Mane collected at least $25 million from him while he was in jail for the 3 years. What do you think he gave him when he came out? I ain't hear he gave him nothing. Right? I ain't hear he gave him nothing. Did he say, okay, I'm going to slide you a cool meal? I don't know. But we're going to find out. So he made $3 to $5 million from streaming alone. All right? So when you're signed to a label, if you got 1 million streams on, say, a Spotify or whatever, you're lucky if you get $1,000. Because that label takes a good bulk of that money. Because remember, we don't have CDs no more. We don't have no physical sales of records anymore. Everything is all streaming. Everything's online. And to be honest with you, a lot of people are like this. Why should I pay for that? Like, people support my record. Thank you, everybody that support my record. So they'll download the record just to support me, right? But any other artist that you go to, say you want to listen to let's pick somebody. Say you want to listen to Total. Okay, you ain't gonna go and download Total's record on Spotify. You're gonna shuffle right over to YouTube and just play that record. YouTube is like the radio right now, but it's the radio that you control. You can find any record on YouTube that you want. Am I right or wrong? So people ain't gotta buy records no more, and that's what's hurting the artists. That's what's hurting the labels, and that's what's making the labels more greedy. Because they don't have that CD money. They don't have that vinyl money back in the days. Back in the days, they sold vinyl in the physical form. They sold CDs in the physical form. Now, everything is digital. And this was what's making the labels more and more greedy, because the streaming service is making more money than them. How are we going to hear the record if they don't put it out on Spotify? If they don't put it out on Apple, they don't put it out on Spotify. How will we then hear the record? They're not going to just put it on YouTube. YouTube, you listen to it for free. They put it out through these streaming, and that's how you release a record now. Any independent artist that has no experience, you could go to DistroKid and you could get your song that you created in the studio yourself and release it through DistroKid, and it'll go on all the platforms. The same thing that the labels are doing. What's different is the labels have perks. The label has connections. The labels could get you in awards. The labels could get you collaboration with mostly anybody you want, as long as they want to collaborate. Perks, the perks. Okay, let's continue to listen.
Does not stop. It keeps flowing in every single sits at the top of the chain. Gucci Mane's 1017 record. But Back in Blood was just the beginning. And 17 features from Lil Durk, Gucci Mane, number 4 on the Billboard 100, the 62,000 album equivalent unit. Additional records like Twerksome, Guard Up, and SUVs all added platinum and gold certifications. Multiple revenue streams flowing simultaneously, streaming royalties, YouTube ad revenue, radio play, sync licensing deals, playlist placements. His name was everywhere. At the peak of his momentum, Pooh Shiesty's annual income from music was estimated at over $1 million a year. It's cut before any of that's pockets. According to people familiar with how 1017's work, imprint structured the way Pooh's was, would likely give Gucci Mane's label a 50 to 70% take of the master recording revenue before Pooh sees anything. And that is before Atlantic gets their distribution percentage. When you calculate the full picture of what 1017 was generating off Pooh Shiesty between 2020 and 2022, the streams, the tours, the merch, the features, the sync placements, we are talking about serious money flowing through that label. People close to the situation
now, he said sync placements. So sync placements are when they play a record in a commercial, at a basketball game, in a restaurant, for the movies, for reality shows. Sync placements, license placement. A lot of artists that's independent don't really focus on that. So my record, Knock 'Em Out, is on Baddies. That's a sync placement. You also get money from that. So Gucci Mane was collecting bread.
That number exceeded $25 million in total revenue off Pooh's catalog and likeness. $25 million. And here's where things started getting real grimy. In October of 2020, just months after his debut explosion, Pooh Shiesty got caught up in a shooting in Bay Harbor Islands, Florida. Armed robbery charges, aggravated assault, criminal theft, a whole case unfolding around him at the exact moment his career was taking off. Then in June of 2021, he was arrested again, this time connected to a strip club shooting in Miami, held without bond. By January 2022, Pooh Shiesty...
So these YNs, they can't get their leg out of the streets. So you just got to deal with Gucci Mane. You was all in awe of that. Happy y'all made a record together, okay? Then you went out and you commenced to do more stuff. What makes people get out of the streets but still want to keep a leg in the streets? I feel like, and it's sad to say this, but I feel like Nipsey Hussle will be still here, right? If he would have got out of his hood, because they're saying, and everybody I know that becomes rich and stays in their hood, it goes bad for them. It's either jealousy, it's this, it's that, it's something. I feel like Nipsey Hussle would be still here if he would have moved to the hills or somewhere away from his area, right? And opened his business in another area. But he got a good heart. He wanted to open his business up where he grew up at, and it didn't pan out for him. And it's sad that a lot of times it don't pan out when you don't move out from where you grew up in the hood. You don't move away from that. So Pooh Shiesty had his foot, one leg still in the street. He did all this stuff and got arrested in the midst of his record blowing up. Imagine being in jail and
He pleaded guilty to federal conspiracy charges. And in April of 2022, he was sentenced to 5 years and 3 months in federal prison. He was 22 years old. Now here is the part that grinds your soul when you think about it. The moment Pooh Shiesty walked into that federal facility, his clock as a working artist stopped. No tours, no appearance. But his catalog, that never stopped working. Back in Blood kept streaming. Shiesty Season kept selling. Radio kept spinning his records. Playlists kept featuring him. YouTube kept running ads on his videos. And all of that revenue Every dollar that came in off the music that Pooh Shiesty created.
Who you think that went to, y'all? Who did that went to? What's up, Slays back? It went to Gucci Mane and Atlantic Records. 3 years he spent in jail. His record was still going. That record went for years. Remember, they put the record on YouTube too, and then you get all the ad revenues goes to the artist. But if you're on a label, then it goes to the label, and they give you a cut of that. That's how it works.
Kept flowing through 1017 Records, kept flowing to Gucci Mane for 3 years straight. Think about that for a second. 3 full years of streaming revenue, sync licensing, playlist royalties, YouTube monetization, all generating income off the name and voice of a man sitting in a federal cell with no access to any of it. The system kept spinning, the checks kept coming, and not a single dollar of that money allegedly made its way back to Pooh or his family while he was locked up. That is not a rumor. That is how the music business is structured. The masters keep generating money, whether the others collects every penny the artist is away. There is no pause button on royalties. There is no morality clause that says if the artist is incarcerated. According to people close to the situation, Gucci Mane ran that machine for 3 years off Pooh Shiesty's back. Where it stopped.
Wait, stop. Do you mean allegedly? Everything's all allegedly. He didn't even put money on his books. Ooh.
Being just a business story and something else entirely. While Pooh Shiesty was sitting inside a federal correctional facility, his family on the outside was still living life. His mother, Gladys Baines, known publicly as Mama Shiesty, was out here holding things together, raising grandkids, managing what was left of Pooh's affairs, keeping the family together while her son did his time. And according to people close to the Gladys Baines out for him. This is the era of the artist whose music was actively making Gucci Mane money in real time. While back worldwide, while Gucci was cashing royalty checks, Pooh's mother was reaching out for support, and allegedly Gucci Mane ignored her. A post that circulated on social media made by someone close to the family who tagged Mama Shiesty.
Okay, so Mama is not the rapper, right? On 3DX, but her son is in jail, right? They ain't getting no money from the song. Her son is on jail, right? So she's the one who reached out to him because she's out here and she can call him freely. Pooh Shiesty got to call him when they're allowed to make the calls in jail. And he might have been not accepting those calls, right? Now Mama has to come to the rescue. Yeah. So the mother was calling Gucci Mane, like saying, yo, we need to hold something. We need something over here. Right? That's her son.
Made a claim that shook the internet that Gucci Mane made over $25 million off Pooh Shiesty's music during his incarceration. He did not get a single dollar with his family. Not $1. While Pooh sat in it.
Stop. Everything's all alleged in Ms. Knockout's life. That hit me in my chest. What? You didn't give nothing to the family? Now y'all see, for every reaction, there was something that caused that action. I want y'all to see what's causing this reaction. That the boy is like, okay, yeah, he's a crash out, like y'all are saying, whatever, but he's crashing out for a reason. He felt that it was worth it to crash out. Now, should he have robified them and all that extra stuff? But he was so desperate that he made this man sign his release at Pum point. Let's listen.
Sell the money generated by his art, his voice, his creativity, allegedly went entirely into Gucci Mane's pocket. And when Pooh Shiesty was released from federal prison in October of 2025, having served 3 years after receiving credit for time served, he came home with one thing on his mind beyond music, the bag that was owed to him. Let's be clear about what he walked back into. His comeback single, FDO, First Day Out, dropped 2 months after his release and immediately shot to #1 on Billboard's Hot R&B and Hip Hop Songs chart and #1 on Hot Rap Songs. #1, the kid had not lost a step. The audience was still there. The money potential was undeniable, but he was still on a contract signed in 2020 before he had leverage, before he had a platinum album, before he had proven himself. He came home a confirmed hit maker, locked.
So he has leverage now, right? But he was locked up for so long that he couldn't use that leverage. Yeah, he probably used more stuff, right? I see why. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So now he couldn't even look. His leverage went on deaf ears. So now he came single on his comeback. And so streets are always in the streets won now. Look, I know.
To a deal structured for a newcomer. Here is important context that makes this situation even more explosive. The music group had approached Pooh Shiesty to understand what CMG represented at that moment. Gotti had built one of the hottest rosters in the game. ESTG, Glorilla becoming one of the big.
Came at him first, and it's the only side with him. Hot fish grease, and he's coming at him. So now he probably I want to be with Yo Gotti. I never heard Yo Gotti complain artists. He is taking from them. Now Yo Gotti is approaching him. Let's listen.
Blood between Atlanta and Memphis that predates Pooh Shiesty by a decade. So the idea of Pooh Shiesty jumping from 1017 to CMG was not just a business move, it was a statement. The money was there, the platform was there, the escape hatch was right in front of him, but he could not walk through it while he was still signed to Gucci Mane. That is the box he was in. The #1 song, a major label offer on the table.
So he wanted to go with Yo Gotti now. Yo Gotti got Glorilla popping. He got all this roster artists. Even though we don't hear about all his artists is moving and shaking. Yo Gotti, right? Oh, and by the way, I'm in the Lifestyles video of Yo Gotti. Okay, the record is called Lifestyles. Miss Knockout is the main character in the video. I play Mary Immaculate. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I wish I could sign it. I would sign to Yo Gotti. Yo Gotti, I never heard his artists talk bad about him. Never. Right? So now you want to go to Yo Gotti, and you can't go to Yo Gotti because Gucci Mane got a hold on you, taking 80% and giving you 20 cents and taking 80 cents. So now you want to go and be with Yo Gotti. He's from Memphis. You from Memphis, and you can't do it because you're buying to that contract. Let's listen.
Well, the whole rap world waiting to see what was next, and a contract from 2020 holding him in place like a chain. And when Pooh Shiesty looked at his situation, still signed to 1017, still locked into those original terms, with no clarity on what he was owed from 3 years of catalog revenue while he was incarcerated, he did what any man would do. He went and asked. According to accounts of what went down, Pooh Shiesty approached Gucci Mane and asked directly where his money was. He wanted to know what happened to the revenue his music generated while he was locked up. He wanted accountability. And allegedly, Gucci Mane's response was 3 words that set everything on fire. I'm broke right now. Broke. The CEO of 1017 Records, the label that just spent 3 years collecting off one of the hottest artists.
Wait a minute. So Gucci Mane said that he was broke after collecting $25 million from when you was in jail? And not to mention, he probably still making money off of his own music, residuals or whatever. So you said you was broke. Wow. Hey, Liz, everybody come on. Let's continue to listen. I mean, I know this happens in the business, but it's still shocking on how desperate people are to be famous. And what
artists in Memphis rap broke. Now you have to understand what that means to someone who grew up the way Pooh Shiesty grew up. In the streets, there is a code. And the most fundamental part of that code is this. You do not play with a man's money. You do not collect off someone's labor and tell them you are broke when they come to collect. That is not just disrespectful. That is a declaration. People have been killed over less than that. And Pooh Shiesty was also sitting on another realization that was burning a hole in him. He had assumed, the way most people would assume, that after doing over 3 years in federal prison, his recording obligations would be done, that he would walk out a free man musically, that the time served would count for something in the contract. That is not how it works. In the music industry, when an artist goes to prison, their contract does not terminate. It is suspended. The clock on their album delivery commitments pauses, but the label's right to collect revenue from existing masters, that never pauses. The label keeps collecting throughout the entire bid. And when the artist gets out, they are still under contract with the same terms they signed at the beginning. So Pooh Shiesty walked out of prison in October 2025, still legally bound to 1017 Records, still under Gucci Mane's authority as label boss, still subject to the same deal structure that gave Gucci the lion's share of everything his music generated. He was free from the feds, but not free from the contract. Every day that passed was money he could not make legitimately. It was an oddity and he spent while his music kept generating revenue for someone else. That pressure built. And that is when he decided the conversation with Gucci Mane was over. January 10th, 2026, Dallas, Texas. Pooh Shiesty reached out to Gucci Mane and 2 other music industry professionals and told them to come to Dallas for a business meeting, a sit down, a conversation about the terms of his recording contract with 1017. What those 3 men did not know was that they were not walking into a business meeting, that they were walking into an ambush. According to the federal criminal affidavit filed by FBI Special Agent Brittany Garcia, Pooh Shiesty had spent time preparing for this moment. He traveled from Memphis, 20 Dodge Charger Hellcat registered in his name, plus 2 additional 3 victims, Gucci Mane and 2 associates identified in the complaint as MM and BP, flew into Dallas believing they were there to talk business. They walked into a music studio inside an office building. The moment those studio doors closed behind them, everything changed. According to the complaint, Pooh Shiesty conspirators introduced multiple individuals produced firearms. The door to the studio was against the exit to prevent anyone from leaving. Victims were trapped. Pooh Shiesty reached into his bag and pulled out a black AK-style pistol. He pointed it at Gucci Mane, the man who had signed him, who had given him his platform, who he had once compared to Shaq in his own lyrics, and demanded he sign paperly. According to the affidavit, Gucci Mane signed the contract release under gunpoint. A business contract at gunpoint on.
So Pooh Shiesty really wanted to get with Yo Gotti back. Not only was he feeling like he was getting robbed, he wanted to go somewhere behind the trend. So now they be with the from guys over there. They getting paid. They living life. Glorilla going around. She dating ball players. She ain't complaining about no money. He want to get over there, but he can't. He did. Not saying it was right. Not it might be out. There's a reason why he crashed out. Let's listen.
Film while the studio victims. Multiple firearms came out. One associate, referred to as MM in the complaint, was physically choked to the point of near unconsciousness. And then the robbery happened in full. Rolex watches, jewelry, including Gucci Mane's own wedding ring and earrings, cash, a Louis Vuitton bag, a wallet fitted with an Apple AirTag. Everything of value in that room was taken. The victims were trapped inside that studio while the crew walked out. They made their way out in vehicles that surveillance cameras from a neighboring building had already captured on film. And then, and this is where the story gets unbelievably reckless, some members of the crew went on social media and posted the stolen items. They posted the Rolex watches. They posted the jewelry on their own accounts. After a federal kidnapping and armed robbery, the moment word spread on social media that Gucci Mane had been robbed and kidnapped by his own artist, the entire rap internet exploded. Some people sided with Pooh, arguing that if the money allegations were true, Gucci brought it on himself. Others called the move reckless and stupid, pointing out that you cannot run a legitimate comeback and pull a move like that at the same time. But the thing that really got people talking was the cooperation. The fact that Gucci Mane gave information to federal investigators. In the world Pooh Shiesty came from, going to the police after getting robbed, even if you are the victim.
Now, this is the part where I don't feel like Gucci Mane is saying, and he got a video saying that he don't go to the police. I think that somebody else snitched. And I think that Gucci Mane is not going to cooperate when this goes to trial. Watch what I'm telling you. Gucci Mane ain't going to cooperate. Why? Because everybody's going to keep calling him a rat. And Gucci Mane doesn't want that. So he ain't going to cooperate, even though all those places got cameras. Everybody got cameras. Studio got cameras. They got cameras outside. Cameras everywhere. And then Pooh Shiesty had the ankle monitor on. Right? And he wasn't even supposed to be. What's up, Miss Browns? It was Keisha. It was Keisha. He wasn't even supposed to be where he was at. They said he was on the phone saying, "Oh, I'm coming right back." Okay, so you got to tell people when you're moving, when you got an ankle bracelet on, you got to tell them every move you make. Let's listen. Then we're going to go.
The stigma that no amount of legal justification erases on the streets. 50 Cent immediately hopped online to fire shots at Gucci's credibility. Old videos of Gucci Mane saying "don't tell police" resurfaced and went viral overnight. Opinion was divided. The court of law was not. Visual, FBI badge, ankle monitor graphics, social media post screenshots, DOJ seal. The FBI was already involved before the arrests were made public. And when you look at the evidence prosecutors compiled against Pooh Shiesty and his crew, the case is airtight in ways that...
And if you don't cooperate, right, the feds can pick up and do the case on their own, and they have.
First monitor. Pooh Shiesty was on federal home confinement at the time of the Dallas robbery. He had come home from October 2025, but not fully released with an ankle monitor. Ankle monitor him at the scene of the crime. GPS data from the federal monitoring system tracked his location to that Dallas studio on January 10th. The government's own supervision technology put him in the room. Second, the surveillance footage. Cameras from a neighboring building captured the vehicles the crew used. 2 of those cars were rental vehicles rented in the name of Lontrell Williams Sr., Pooh's father. The Dodge Charger Hellcat was registered to Pooh's father. The vehicle trail from Memphis to Dallas is documented. Third, the social media posts. Members of the group photographed the stolen goods and posted them online. Investigators matched those items to what the victims reported stolen, and those accounts were linked directly back to the defendants. Fourth, the video Big 30 recorded. A video of Gucci Mane signing the contract release under gunpoint on camera. Documented evidence of the crime in progress. Alleged...
Hold up 1 second. Hold up 1 second. I just thought about something, right? If you sign something under duress, I heard it's not valid. What's up, Rachel? We're talking about Gucci Mane being kidnapped and robbed allegedly and made to sign to release artist out of a contract, right? So now look at this, y'all. I haven't even thought about this. When you sign a contract under duress, right? When you sign a contract, it's not valid. So Gucci Mane could further keep him at bay if he wanted to by saying that it can't be. That he can say that I signed this under gunpoint. I was made to sign this. I didn't want to sign this. And then it's not valid. Am I right or wrong? Hey, Rachel. Thank you, Rachel. Am I right or wrong? That's messed up. So now Pooh Shiesty might still not be out of the contract. he still might not be out of that contract. Now, if I was Gucci Mane, but I'm not, but if I was Gucci Mane, I would just let him go. Because you ain't going to be like, you know what I'm saying? Then your peoples might be out here still going for you. And you might be more trouble. But see, Gucci Mane might have the ways to be like, hey, I'm still collecting money off of you. I'm not letting you go. But we're going to see. Okay, thank you, Special. Everybody blessify Miss Knockout. We've been rocking here for a minute. It's 72 people in the room. Everybody blessify Miss Knockout, just like you blessify the power beggars that's sitting there doing battles all day. Okay? I'm actually talking about something. You actually getting something out of it. Yeah, where's a glove? Where's a glove? Oh, drop me a uni. No. Bless Miss Knockout like you bless them. All right? So Gucci Mane might still keep Pooh Shiesty in that contract out of spite because he did what he did. Thank you, Mrs. Thank you for the donut. Ain't that something? And now you locked up back in jail, and now you can't even get at him because you locked up. Damn. Under duress. If you sign a contract under duress, it is not valid. Welcome in the chat. Okay, let's listen.
Created by one of the defendants themselves. Now let's talk about what they are actually facing in court, because the charges here are not something you negotiate your way out of with a good lawyer and a clean record. The federal complaint was filed Monday, March 30th, 2026. By Wednesday, April 1st, the FBI had executed raids simultaneously across Dallas and Memphis. The FBI's Memphis field office hit a home in Cordova, Tennessee. Property record search confirmed it was owned by Pooh Shiesty. Multiple arrests went down in a single day across multiple cities. Those charged include Pooh Shiesty, Lontrell Williams Jr. as the ringleader, his father Lontrell Williams Sr., Big 30, Rodney Wright Jr., plus 6 additional co-conspirators, Kadarius Waters.
See, now this might turn into a RICO. Watch what I'm saying. Oh, everything's all alleged in Miss Knockout's live, but this might turn into a RICO charge. I wish I could go to that trial, y'all. We're going to have to work something out for Miss Knockout to go to that trial, because this is going to be some sort of trial. I feel like this is going to be, and then it's going to be 9 people. It's 9 people involved. So it's going to be a lengthy trial. Hey, Special? Hey, let's listen.
Marion Gibson, DeMarcus Glover, Corday Johnson, Darian McDaniel, and Terrence Rogers. 9 defendants total. All 9 face federal kidnapping charges. And this is critical. Federal kidnapping is not a state charge. Federal kidnapping carries a maximum penalty of life in prison. No parole in the federal system. If convicted, Pooh Shiesty, who is 26 years old, could spend every remaining year of his life inside a federal penitentiary. His father is facing the same charges. Big 30, his closest collaborator, his day one, the man he made music with since they were teenagers, is facing the same charges. This one move took out an entire circle. U.S. Attorney Ryan Raybould addressed the media directly. For anyone contemplating using violence and intimidation as a business practice, I'm here to tell you that it will be vigorously investigated and prosecuted. Felt cornered, trapped by a contract, broke after 3 years in prison watching someone else profit off his art, and who made the worst possible decision when he finally snapped. This situation is bigger than Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane. This happened here is not unique. The details are extreme. Nobody else has allegedly pulled out an AK to get out of a record deal. But the underlying grievance, the feeling of being trapped, of watching.
So Pooh Shiesty took it to the extreme, all right? Which the average person is not going to take it to the extreme. But the average artist be trapped in these deals. They want to go and do other things, but they can't get out of it because it's what they signed. Right? But he just took it to the crash out place. You know how many artists wants to crash out right now? That's in contracts that they can't get out of, and somebody else is profiting 80% to their 20% off of their art. He just didn't do it the right way. What way do you do it, though, when somebody's profiting off of you and won't let you out the contract because they steadily getting money off of you? If Gucci Mane's family is eating off of this Pooh Shiesty bread. I didn't even realize Pooh Shiesty was signed to Gucci Mane until all this unfolded. Right?
Someone else collect off your work while you sit in a box of coming home with nothing after giving everything? That is not rare in this industry. That is pattern. Ross addressed the situation the day after the arrest dropped and said something that actually made sense. He told his followers that if you signed a deal for 100,000 and now there's 10 million on the table, you renegotiate. You have to do it through legitimate channels. You cannot bring the streets into the boardroom. And he is right about the method. But he also acknowledged what everybody already knows, that the underlying tension Pooh Shiesty felt about money and contracts is a conversation the industry has been avoiding for decades. Because here is the reality of what a standard instant deal does to a young artist from the hood. You come in with no lawyer who really understands music law. You get an advance.
Everybody that's just coming in, we're talking about why Pooh Shiesty wilded out on Gucci Mane. It's not just he's a crash out. It's the contract he was signed in that he couldn't get out of, that Gucci Mane profited off of, made 25 million in 3 years while he was sitting in jail. He came out, still went on his contract. He wanted to go with Yo Gotti, couldn't go with Yo Gotti. Yo Gotti's artist is over there eating. He's seeing all that. Thank you so much, Shantae. Welcome. I'm going to orbit you back, Shantae. Let me orbit Shantae. Yes. So people call him just a crash out, and I want to know that he's not just a crash out. This industry is designed to keep you broke and keep you out. Gucci has a record of this, and he ain't no crash out. Yeah, you know, he did it the wrong way. I'm not condoning what he did. What he did was dead wrong. He was on paperwork already, right? But I just wanted to show you. See, Shantae, you missed it. I made the whole reason and the whole setup that he had with Gucci Mane and how much money Gucci Mane was taken from him, and how Gucci Mane fit it off his pocket for 3 years while he was in jail. He came out. His mother was calling Gucci Mane, wouldn't give them a dime. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that he should have crashed out and did what he did to Gucci Mane, but I'm just showing you that he just didn't do what he did for nothing. He was frustrated. He's a YN. He's young. Now, they said the father didn't want it to go like that. The father's a little bit older. He didn't want it to go like that. But the YNs, he got 6 of his friends hopped on the Greyhound. You know, his son is a YN. Big 30 is a YN. The father was the only old head there that could, you know, that had logic, but he was outnumbered. And what are you going to do? You're going to rock with your son at the end of the day. You can't rock with Gucci Mane. You got to rock with your son. Okay,
maybe a few $100,000 and you think you are rich. Is recoupable. Every dollar they spend in courting you, promoting you, comes out of your royalties before you see a penny. And meanwhile, the label is collecting master recording revenue that the artist sees very little of. Pooh Shiesty created a 5-time, generated hundreds of millions of streams, and he came home $1 million. While his label allegedly pulled 25 million in revenue off his catalog. That is the real score that got kept. That is the math that broke him. And here is where things stand today. Pooh Shiesty is in federal custody. His father is in federal custody. Big 30 is in federal custody. The man who once rapped that Gucci came and got him is now staring at a potential life sentence for how he tried to get himself out. His comeback single FDO had just hit #1. The bag from Yo Gotti and CMG was reportedly on the table. Everything Pooh needed was right there. A legitimate lane out of a situation he felt was suffocating him. And he threw all of it away. That is the real tragedy in all of it. Legal exposure. Not just the potential decades behind bars, but the fact that the music was working, the audience was there, the money was coming back around legitimately. His lawyer had said publicly after his prison release, he will be bigger than ever. The streets do not care about your streaming numbers when you feel disrespected, when you feel like someone took from you and looked you in the eyes and lied about it, when your mother was calling and getting ignored. All the logic in the world does not compete with that kind of pain. Pooh Shiesty thought the meeting in Dallas was going to solve something, but the only thing that happened in that studio on January 10th, 2026, was that a 26-year-old man from Memphis made a decision that the system will never let him walk back. $25 million in alleged revenue, one meeting gone sideways, and a life sentence sitting at the end of the road. That is the real story of Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane. And if you are watching this and you are an up-and-coming artist, please, before you sign anything, get a lawyer who actually knows this industry. Understand every clause in your contract. Know what happens to your royalties when you cannot work. Know what your label is collecting while you are not in the room. Because the music industry will smile in your face, put you on magazine covers, call you family, and collect every dollar you generate without losing a night of sleep. Pooh Shiesty learned that the hard way. Make sure you do not. Think about the math one more time from a different angle. Pooh Shiesty came home in October 2025. He drops FDO and immediately hits #1. The demand was clearly still there. The audience had waited 3 years and showed back up in full force overnight. That tells you the catalog value never went away. Every stream, every playlist ad, every time a DJ played Back in Blood at a club while Pooh was in prison. That was money, real money, consistent money. Money that flowed upward through the label structure and never made a U-turn back to the artist who created it. If you made it this far, you already know what time it is. Drop a comment below. Do you think Gucci Mane was wrong for how he handled this? Or did Pooh Shiesty make his own bed? Let us know what you think. And if you are new here, make sure you subscribe because we are just getting started.
All right.
The April 15th tax deadline is coming, and your max refund is a few steps away with TurboTax. Plus, the new tax law can boost refunds by up to $1,000. The April 15th tax deadline.
So let's do a little outline from my notes. Okay, so we're talking about Pooh Shiesty incident with Gucci Mane, in which he invited him to have a meeting in Texas, and then he wanted to get on his contract, so in a release at Pum Point, and then he commenced to robify Gucci Mane and his people that he had with him, and he got charged with kidnapping charges, robbery. He's on the aim, and it's just no good. It's no good on all ends, right? And I bet you, and I just bet you, that Gucci Mane is probably still not going to let this guy out of his contracts. I'm willing to. He's going to say that he signed the contracts under duress. He was forced to get out of these contracts, right? He was forced to get them. I mean, I wouldn't do it because in my mind, I'm like, man, this guy's a wild cannon, right? He's a wild, and I don't want a wild cannon on my doggone roster, right? So I'm gonna Gucci Mane might be adamant about keeping him in the contracts. Okay, so let's do a little overglaze and a little glazement before we go of what happened. This happened January 10th. A lot of people think it happened now. It didn't happen January 10th, 2026, at a music studio on Dallas Park, legitimate. So that means Gucci Mane and two of his associates. The complaint identifies the main victim only as RD, and which is Gucci Mane, owner of 1017 Records. Okay, Gucci Mane is the owner of 1017 Records. All right. So we're just going through the backstory of how everything panned out. All right. So Gucci Mane is the owner of 1017 Records, right? So the government's theory is that Pooh Shiesty, who whose real legal name was Lontre Williams, because he was unhappy with the terms of his contract, in which we just went over out. And we can see why he is unhappy. And he wanted out, right? And in the FBI says that he asked Gucci Mane to come to Dallas to discuss business. The complaint says that Pooh Shiesty had been signed to 1017 since 2021. That's just before he went to jail the first time, right? Once jail, then Gucci Mane collected off him for 3 years. He came out. He didn't see no money. And now he's mad. They said Pooh Shiesty's father, Lontre Williams Sr., had been calling the studio on this session, and surveillance video allegedly places him outside and then building. Prosecutors say that the ambush happened about 3:43 p.m. His father and Big 30, which is a childhood friend, at the building together. I traveled there, Greyhound. Why? Because that scene, and we explained for the last hour that Pooh Shiesty, they had to take the Greyhound there, right? Once inside, prosecutors say Pooh Shiesty got Gucci Mane to move to a more private area in the recording and is present. The government said it really works and refused to sign it at first. And then Pooh Shiesty allegedly had Big 30, allegedly, everything's all alleged in Miss Knockout's line, retrieve a bag containing, thank you, Aileen, containing what looked like an AK style pew pew. So this is not a small pew pew. Anybody know what an AK looks like? It's an AK, and that's why then contracts. If you got an AK point at you, I think, right? So produce the contract release paperwork and Big 30 go retrieve a bag containing the AK. Pew point to sign the paperwork releasing Pooh Shiesty from his deal. Now, Pooh Shiesty, you might not still be released from the deal, but man might say that I signed this under duress. And in a court of law, an entertainment kind of contract, if you sign a contract and you're shown signs that trying, because the people will get you lit and drunkified and have you sign paper work too, right? And if you, it's on camera. I signed this under duress. They had the pew pew to my head, and I didn't want to sign that. I was forced to sign that. And then he's back in his contract, worse than before, right? Because now Gucci Mane could still claim you can't do nothing about it. Back in jail. So not back in one where you were for, where this man is dreaming. It's probably streaming even more now. It's probably streaming shots again. Okay, it's for the other victims, the affidavit pulled on them and took luxuries, Rex, a Louis Vuitton and wallet, AirPods, cash, and a 1017 was until he nearly lost consciousness. Now, I am not a street dude. It's the cameraman that films footage for Gucci for years were included with the complaint. Who complained and includes? See, I don't think this was Gucci Mane. Everybody's saying Gucci Mane snitching, but I don't think Gucci Mane snitched. It might have been the cameraman that told. He's a civilian. He might say, F that, I'm telling. Watches in it, I'm telling. What makes this case serious is the amount of the evidence that prosecutors said they have. The GOG investigators has electronic money sites, license plate reading data, rental car records, surveillance footage, latent fingerprints, social media bus records. You know, whatever you put on the internet stays on the internet. Even if it's erased on the internet, it stays on the internet. Know that? You sitting there bragging, hold up the chains and the Louis bag and all this and all that. Even if you delete it, there's somebody that screenshotted it, screen recorded it, downloaded it. It's crazy. Why did y'all go and about tape? Now, we didn't really put the connection together in January. Because all right, because was already an early federal case, Florida, the prohibited him from committing new crimes and possessing firearms. So they in jailification. So yes, he was out. Now he's back in. So the name of all the defendants is Latrell Williams Jr., who was Pooh Shiesty, Latrell Rodney Wright Jr., which is Big 30, who was a childhood friend, right? And then we got the 6 that rode on the Greyhound bus. We got Kadarius Waters, Terrence Rogers, and which they said is at large, but they will find him soon. Demarion Gibson, DeMarcus Glover, Corday Johnson, and McDonald. So the Lil Tjay, 8 of the case was said that Terrence. If you running, you better be quicker because they coming for you. Okay? So the punishment, they say that each of the defendants can face up to a life in prison because the charge announced was, one of the charges was conspiracy to commit kidnapping, the federal law that carries and can carry a life sentence alone. And we haven't even got to the other charges, ladies and gentlemen. Chancellor John Helms said that the government is simplifying or simply case and more complicated than over 20 and his version of events different from the government's account. That's now. No trial has happened yet, and the allegations are still being tested in court. Stupid. Now, there's two sides to a story, people. We're hearing the GOJ's side. We didn't hear Pooh Shiesty's side yet. And we probably won't hear that until the case goes, hey, how they, and the DOJ is going to know how to prepare. So that's why he can't really talk about what Pooh Shiesty's whole version. We don't know. This might be all made up to make him look like he signed it under the rest, because people be wanting that money. They be wanting that money. They ain't gonna voluntarily sign nothing. You want to stay in those contracts? Why? Because I'm feeding my money off of you. So you deal with it. That's these people's attitude. And if he did sign it under duress, Gucci Mane could go to his and contest it. Look, it's on record. He had the pew pew to my head, and I signed this. I didn't sign this because I wanted to sign it, and boom. Shiesty's back in the it's back where a lot of records that Pooh Shiesty did. Pooh Shiesty probably went in the studio and did mad records. Gucci Mane got possession of all his records. Maybe if he don't, he can summons to get them to turn it over. Why? Because he's signed the contracts, corporate, exactly clear. If they don't turn over the music, Gucci Mane can summon the law to make you turn over that. Why? Gucci Mane in 17 records. He can then control your masters. So you're in jail and Gucci continue to release records. And you'll continue to make money. You'll continue to make money. Why? Because you're locked up now and you're growing. Exactly. And corporate business and labels are going to robify you because you're so desperate to be. People out here, these artists, they will pum their own mama to get signed to Atlantic, to get signed this person, to get that person. They will pum their own mama to get on television, to get on camera. This industry, entertainment industry, is a heck of a pharmaceutical on how they brag. I know I sit on background every day with people that sitting there doing background just like me, bragging like they Denzel Washington and Halle Berry. You are not. All to research to learn, but desperate to be somebody, but it's hard to be somebody in the industry. There's only, and I don't think she was doing bad because I didn't hear her create a contract. Probably just all worn out from the industry and just want to do her makeup now. It happens. I never heard nobody complain about Jay-Z not paying him either. Y'all, Jay-Z, I'm sorry, and y'all let me, okay? Because Jay-Z ain't doing nothing wrong. Y'all, this is gonna get to y'all would have had to start a long ass time to get where Jay-Z is at right now. Jay-Z's own about broke getting paid. I haven't business like this. All the record labels, they all over the robbery. It's just robify people more than some people rob you all the way. Some people rob you half The Migos, they thinks about their label. I never heard the city girl complain about money. Everybody's contract is different. All right. Everybody, well, not this broadcast on the clock, but you could watch what we talked about just now back on my Y to the Tubesy, which is in my link tree, but everything is Miss Knockout, just like my name is spelled. All right, put in Miss Knockout, utothetubesy.com/Miss Knockout, and you'll find me, or put Miss Knockout TV, you will find me. All right, and you can watch it back. Tomorrow I'll record the whole thing again. Today I didn't do it because I switched the time. So I didn't think I was going to be on here that long, but I'm on here that long. We're going on what? 5 hours. Wow. 5 hours. All right. So everybody go over there to the Y to the Tubesy, play it back. Give me a thumbs up. We're trying to grow the channel. All right. And go to my song in the link tree. Miss Knockout coming with the heat, out on all platforms now. Go stream it, share it, save it. All right. Put it on your playlist. And we're still working the record. The record's doing really good. It's getting a lot of good feedback. It's getting licensing deals. Okay, Miss Knockout's not in no contract. Let's see if we could do it. All right. I'm trying to get a Grammy with no record label. I want to be one of the few female artists that owns her all my publishing. I own 100% of my publishing. All right, and I'll put clips of me performing Knockout Coming with the Heat, of me singing my record. Me singing my record at this event. I didn't film it because I didn't go live, but I will be putting clips up of me performing my record. All right, me singing. Yes, singing my record. All right. And we'll be back tomorrow. My goals this week, and then we'll tweak it next week accordingly. So if I do better at 2 p.m., we'll stay at 2 p.m. If I do better then in the morning, I'll switch it back to the morning. All right. We ain't going to go too late at night because the clock I do good in the morning. So the clock, y'all are morning people. All right. All right. So we'll be back tomorrow. Everybody join the Discord. If you're on the Y to the Tubesy, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. And we will be back tomorrow with more news, more hot topics, and more debauchery. Okay, we'll probably talk about the warification tomorrow. Why? Because we have to talk about it. Because y'all need to know what's going on. I still miss Blue Control. The record said, yeah, they did a lot of people wrong. They did a lot of people wrong. Yeah, see you. Okay, Slave Braids. All right. So I will see y'all tomorrow. Thank you for coming out. Okay. And let's go. Okay, we're gonna play my theme song going out. And I will see y'all later. All right. See y'all tomorrow. New time, 2 p.m. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with your friends. And make sure you spin my record. Knockout Coming with the Heat, out on all platforms. Same name.
It's the Miss Knockout Show on the airwaves. So like, if I share, if I bless, if I the flow. It's the Miss Knockout Show. Now you already know. Hot topics, music, info, and more. If you ain't tapped in, what you came here for? MKO got the vibe, that's a full takeover. From beats to biz talk, yeah, the queen stay in clover. Trending every lane, I'm the glow you can't block. When I drop gems, whole chat goes shock. We don't do brokeify, now we amplify. Stay blessed if I let the energy fly. Hit that tapify, keep it all in the flow. Cause it's the Miss Knockout Show. Knockout Show, hot topics, beats and the glow. You rockin' with Miss Knockout. Let's go. Let's fuck.